A legacy is not over. Whatever I have to do for the legacy, that still includes my entire family, is still not over. My son is looking. My daughter's looking. My lady is looking. Everybody's looking.
Kelvin fashion, he didn't keep his word on that. He'd rather spend that money on his side chick. Bought her a Ferrari as a push present, but that car, according to the Daily Mail, got repossessed the day after Wendy announced the divorce. You know you can't afford those type of toys, Kev.
Wait, Kevin Hunter might actually be on the run right now. Karma just spun the block on him hard. First, that massive $250 million lawsuit got completely laughed out of court, and now things have allegedly gone even worse. He's reportedly drowning in debt, with loan sharks said to be actively looking for him. But the real mystery is this: where is Kevin hiding? And it doesn't stop there. Sharina Hudson has already packed her things and moved back to her mother's house, leaving Kevin to deal with everything on his own. The same man who once believed Wendy Williams would always be his personal ATM forever is now watching that entire life collapse piece by piece. And now he is reportedly out there hiding. With Wendy finally cutting ties and washing her hands of him for good, Kevin has no option but to disappear, especially as the loan sharks are no longer waiting around and are demanding their money back fast. Kevin has always found himself in messy situations, but this time it looks different. One thing is clear: Wendy must be sitting back and laughing at how it all turned out for him.
I don't recommend that you work with your husband, because I made him my manager, and then when I decided to divorce him, he had to be fired. In other words, I made him divorced and unemployed all in one day.
Since the Wendy Williams show was put under guardianship in 2023, Kevin Hunter has been claiming financial hardship and says he can no longer afford the lifestyle he once had. He states that he has fallen behind on several bills, including credit card payments, and blames it on the suspension of severance payments. According to him, his financial situation has been significantly impacted after the settlement payments were stopped, leaving him struggling to stay afloat. It wasn't actually the show being canceled. Instead, Wendy's guardians stopped the alimony payments in line with their settlement agreement. The court, however, sided with Wendy, pointing out that the agreement's fine print stated his payments would end once she was no longer working on the show. And just when Kevin was still hoping for a legal win, Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, filed another lawsuit against him, this time demanding that he return $112,000 that had already been paid out. When his repeated attempts to secure alimony kept getting rejected, Kevin tried a different legal route by seeking to overturn the divorce, alleging that Wendy had concealed $48 million from him. However, the court dismissed the claim. At the time, he was also involved with Sharina Hudson. Rather than stepping away from legal battles and focusing on work, he went on to file a $250 million lawsuit against Wendy's guardians and certain court officials. In it, he attempted to position himself as a next friend for Wendy, arguing that the guardianship was being used against her and that her assets were being poorly managed. He pushed for the appointment of a new guardian and requested a full forensic audit of her finances.
Wendy Williams' husband has filed a $260 million lawsuit claiming that Wendy is being held against her will in an illegal guardianship, has caused all sorts of financial and emotional damage. Problem is, he's divorced from her, and she doesn't like her much.
No, it was not a great divorce.
She didn't like him much.
And even though she's had to pay him out a whole lot of money over a lot of years, she doesn't want him a part of this. And you know this straight from the source.
Well, I know it straight from the source because before I talked to the source, meaning Wendy, it was just apparent to me. I mean, he's filing this as Kevin Hunter, her friend. I mean, when does a friend have standing to file a 200? She had no idea about this lawsuit.
Kevin's intentions, however, weren't exactly about concern for Wendy. Many believed he was trying to leverage the situation, using the push for a new guardian and forensic accounting as a way to potentially benefit financially. Wendy, on her end, reportedly made it clear she wanted no involvement with him and didn't want him anywhere near her finances. Later, it became more apparent why he was so desperate for a new source of money. Reports suggested that his savings had been drained through spending on Sharina Hudson's failed business ventures, along with luxury cars and jewelry for her. It seemed Kevin had assumed Wendy's financial support would never end, leaving him with no backup plan or steady source of income once it did. When the money ran dry, Kevin reportedly continued maintaining his expensive lifestyle, still believing he would eventually win the lawsuit. However, things didn't go in his favor. He was forced to sell off his house and cars, and his relationship with Sharina Hudson also reportedly ended, as she chose not to stay with him amid his financial troubles. He is now said to be in significant debt, owing money not only to banks but also to private lenders. One of his creditors, UBS Bank, allegedly moved quickly against him after he lost his alimony case. Kevin had obtained a credit card from the bank back in 2014 and had made regular payments for years, but stopped once his income was cut off. The bank issued warnings regarding missed payments, which he reportedly ignored. When it became public that Kevin was no longer receiving money from Wendy, the bank reportedly took immediate legal action against him. They asked the court to award damages of no less than $20,176, along with covering the cost of the lawsuit, including attorney's fees. At the same time, another company, Flex Wealth, also came forward demanding repayment of 2 loans he had taken out for luxury vehicles. Even his home wasn't spared from the financial pressure. He was ultimately forced to sell it as he could no longer manage the ongoing maintenance and homeowner expenses. Sources also suggest that Kevin wasn't just struggling financially, but emotionally as well. With the money gone and the home put up for sale, Sharina reportedly chose to leave and move back in with her mother. Kevin eventually sold the property for around $1 million, but that amount still wasn't enough to clear his outstanding debts. His financial obligations remain unresolved, and in the case involving UBS Bank, a default judgment was reportedly issued, meaning the debt continues to accumulate interest until it is fully repaid. It's also alleged that Kevin turned to underground money lenders to cover legal fees, expecting that he would repay them once he won his lawsuits. However, with most of his cases reportedly going against him, those debts have only continued to grow with heavy interest. These are not lenders you want to fall behind with, and the situation is said to be getting increasingly serious. Given his current financial state and lack of stable employment, concerns remain about how or if these obligations will ever be repaid. He has also reportedly stepped out of the public eye, removing traces of his lifestyle from Instagram and staying completely inactive on social media. His current whereabouts remain unclear, as he appears to be keeping a low profile to avoid attention. Meanwhile, some insiders suggest that bankruptcy could be on the table as a potential way to deal with mounting financial pressure. Online reactions have been harsh, with many users pointing back to his past and arguing that his current situation is a consequence of earlier actions involving Wendy Williams. Karma ain't finished with him yet. And it's gonna come to Sharina too. Everyone doesn't get to see karma play out for people who have done others wrong. This is most definitely not one of those moments. In the end, many believe you eventually face the consequences of your actions. And for some, there's no sympathy left. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.